So, here at Art Film, you are receiving the Golden Camera Award for your contribution to cinema. What are your feelings about this award?
I'm proud, very much. It speaks for my work, you know. I'm in a way, I don't know exactly in which period of my work I am, because I don't know how long I'm going to live and how long I'm going to work, you know. I'm not at the beginning, okay, but am I in the middle? I hope. Or am I at the end? I don't know, you know. So I hope this award gives me like the idea that so far so good, and keep going with what you do, you know. I hope it means that. I'm going to say this tonight, you know.
Now that you talk about it, about this reflection on your work, you're presenting the film Head On, I think tonight. What are your how have your feelings changed about the film, and what it means to see it again?
All my films are my children. It's a cliche, but it's like that. Or all my films reflect a time period where and when I was and how I thought about, you know. And you know, philosophically, we are the result of the past, and we are I don't know, we are the future right now, you know. So future, past, and present somehow is all one, you know. So on the one hand, it's very, I made it today, and somehow that film will reflect the future, you know. So I don't see it like as an old film. People had died. I mean, like the main actor passed away. Other actors in the film passed away. I don't work with the DP anymore, you know, but I think I do films with the same spirit, with another knowledge, but with the same spirit.
Your latest film, Amrum, is based on Harkbom's memories of his childhood during the war. How have you gotten into this theme of the film, and how you came upon, you know?
It was a very practical thing. Harkbom's supposed to be the director, and I should be the producer. And then Harkbom was too old, and he couldn't do the film. So he asked me to do the film, and I did it. I didn't do it just as a favor. I did it because my company needed a film, simple as that. I did it because I liked the screenplay, and I did it to fulfill his work. Yeah, of course. And then suddenly, surprise, surprise, this beautiful, personal, very successful film came out, which I really did not expect it. It's really like John Lennon said, life is what happens while you're planning other things, you know.
During the masterclass, you talked about your love for Prince and for music, and how that inspires your movie making. But do you reach for inspiration elsewhere, other than music?
Books. I read a lot. Other films. I get inspiration, of course, when I see something like Backroom, you know, because it's done for so less money, and the guy who made it is 20 years old, and you know, so Backroom is very much an inspiration, but Tarkovsky is also an inspiration, you know, and I can have these inspirations on the same day. I can watch in the morning Tarkovsky's Ivan's Childhood, you know, on DVD, and I watch it and I make notes. In the middle of the day, I read a graphic novel. I'm speaking about if I don't work, you know. And then I read a graphic novel which inspires me. And in the night, I go with my children to see Backroom. And I, okay, wow, you know. And then this is like a very eclectic selection, what I mentioned. And all these reflect with my personality and with my thoughts, and they feed me in a way. Yeah.
You're also a writer, so you go through the whole process yourself. which part of that filmmaking process do you like the most?
I think the editing.
Oh.
I mean, I like all parts, in a way. Is writing something what I really enjoy? Sometimes, yes. But sometimes writing is really like going to school. You know, you have to write. You have to. You know, sit down, motherfucker, and write. You know, this is like, you have to force yourself to write. You don't want to write, but you have to. You know, it's like you have to finish it. You have to. You know, but when you sit and write, and when you forget the moment where you are, when you are really in the momentum, when you're in the flow, which is very rare, this is a very beautiful thing. Or when you have the feeling like you write something beautiful, you write something special. By the end of the day, you get such a good mood. You get such a good mood. It's like, I wrote the scene, I wrote it, you know, I have it, you know, it's like, it will be good. You know, but the most difficult part is before you write. This sucks. You know, before you like literally sit and write. You do everything to not sit and write. You phone with someone, you chat on, I don't know, fucking Instagram. You know, you talk with someone, you read the newspaper, you do everything not to sit down and write. You know, but by the end of the day, you know, it's a beautiful thing. Editing is filmmaking. Editing really is the filmmaking, because editing, this is what Kubrick said, you know, is just the one thing what belongs to filmmaking. Script writing comes from literature. Working with actors comes from theater. Camera work comes from photography. Editing comes from film.
You talked about the whole theme of your masterclass was about the next film, the preparation for your next project. But I have a question. What would you say to someone who is about to shoot their first film?
Thank you. Watch more films. Watch films and wear good shoes. You know, yeah, the shoes, they have to be like enough space. You know, if your shoes press, no good. Oh God, but it's the truth.
Has your view of the cinema changed over the years?
Yes.
In what way?
You get more cynical, which is not a nice thing. You lose the innocence. And sometimes, if I'm also a producer, I became a producer to protect the artist in me. But sometimes this gets diluted. You know, it's like, am I protecting the artist or am I protecting the company? So sometimes there are two different things. And when I get into because I'm responsible, and if you want to have creative control, you have to be responsible for the money. That's it. You know, you have to be responsible. Like, I want to spend this money for this shot. I want to shoot this scene again because I don't like what I shot yesterday. You can do it if you're the producer. But if you're the producer, you have to deal with the tax thing. You have to deal with the state. You have to deal with politics. And if I reach a level where this is taken overhand, then I will stop filmmaking. Then I found a bar, sell drinks, and listen to good music.
Thank you.